Have you ever stopped to think about why a man's eyes land on you long before his heart ever understands you? Why his desire lights up before his devotion even begins to grow? This isn't only about biology, it's psychology, instinct, and human behavior working together. And once you understand this, you will never feel unappreciated or confused again. So many women mix up lust with love, or even feel embarrassed when they become the object of desire. But the truth is, lust is not something shameful. It's the doorway. It's the spark that gets his attention. Love arrives later, but only when you stay grounded, own your value, and guide his instinct towards something deeper and more meaningful. A man's attraction often forms before he even has a chance to learn your name. He sees you, he notices your presence, and in that split second, something ancient and instinctive switches on inside him. This reaction is not about disrespect. It's about biology and centuries of evolution shaping his initial response. Men are built to observe, to chase, and to follow what catches their eye. And most of the time, that first trigger is visual. It's the vibe you carry, the energy you walk with, the way you enter a room. It's not only about your body, it's the silent message your presence sends before you speak a word. This is why lust shows up first. It's not a flaw in men, and it's not a sign that your worth is limited to how you look. It's simply how the male mind works. It reacts first, it understands later. But here's the important part. The fact that he first notices you for one reason does not mean that reason is what will keep him there. That is where your strength as a woman truly appears. You must stop treating lust as the whole story. It's just the first page. And what comes after depends entirely on the depth you bring into the connection. Yes, he may be pulled in by your smile, your confidence, or the way you move, but what holds his spirit and keeps his attention is your truth, your standards, your emotional strength, and the way you refuse to fold just because he looked at you with intensity. A man may feel desire quickly because that is the part of him that reacts the fastest. That instinct is raw and powerful, but it is not yet deep. And this is where many women get hurt. They take that early intensity as a sign of something lasting, but intensity is not intimacy. Lust burns quickly. Love develops slowly, like a seed that needs time, space, and care. And here is where everything shifts. When you accept that lust is only the beginning, you stop giving your heart to someone who hasn't earned it. You stop mistaking attention for affection. You stop assuming that his desire means he is ready to commit. And when you understand this, you take back your emotional power. Men may notice you immediately, but that does not mean they truly see you. Real seeing requires time, respect, and presence. Lust may pull him toward you, but it is only when he understands that you are much more than what he first imagined that he begins to feel something deeper. That transition, from noticing to seeing, from wanting to respecting, is what separates men who pass through your life from men who want to stay. And the key to that shift is not found in how much you please him. It's in how you carry yourself. For generations, women have been taught that being desired is enough, but desire without depth is empty. And a woman who understands this walks through life differently. She doesn't try to increase lust. She doesn't try to become more visible just for attention. She lets desire rise naturally without letting it define her worth. She isn't scared of being wanted, but she also doesn't collapse under the weight of that want. She lets it be what it is, a signal, a spark, and she watches what he does next. Does he move closer to understand her heart and her world? Does he try to know who she truly is? Or does he remain in the shallow space of physical attraction? A woman who understands how men operate also understands her own value. She doesn't shame him for being drawn in, but she doesn't reward him too quickly either. She knows a simple truth. the easier it is for him to get everything from you, the less effort he will make to discover anything deeper about you. Men chase what they believe is valuable, and value is reinforced by what isn't immediately available. This doesn't mean playing games. It means having self-respect. It means saying, I know what brought you here, but you need to go deeper if you want to remain here. When a man feels lust for you at first, it's not about love. It's about curiosity, interest, fascination, and there is nothing wrong with that. But if he never moves beyond that stage, then the answer becomes clear. You are not meant to be consumed. You are meant to be understood, appreciated, and truly known. Lust might bring him to your doorstep, but your character, your presence, your standards are what determine whether he enters with respect or tries to take without offering anything real. You cannot stop men from feeling lust. That is not your responsibility. Your power lies in deciding what that lust transforms into. You are not powerless in this dynamic. You guide the direction. You decide whether the path stays on the surface or leads into something meaningful. If you don't know your worth, you will keep mistaking his desire for genuine love. But when you stand in your value, everything becomes clear. Lust is merely his first language. Love is a language he learns only when you show him something worth learning. You teach a man how to love you by showing him what is worth loving. And that begins when you no longer shrink under the warmth of his desire, but instead rise with strength, grace, clarity, and self-respect. Always remember this: a man's eyes might land on you before his heart does. That is normal. That is human. But whether his heart ever opens depends entirely on what you expect from him, what you reflect back, and how you show up. Be the woman who welcomes attention but refuses to be defined by it. Because when desire meets dignity, it has room to grow. And when it grows, that is where true love begins. Lust is a message, not a map. It's a spark, not a structure. Yet many women misunderstand it. When a man shows strong desire, it can feel flattering, it can feel powerful, and it can even feel like a form of affection. But lust is not a blueprint for love. It's not a commitment. It's simply the body whispering that something is interesting here. And while that whisper can feel exciting, it is not enough to build a relationship. If you treat lust as a plan to win his heart, you will end up drained, uncertain, and emotionally worn out, because lust does not ask real questions. It does not communicate. It does not give. It only wants to take. It wants to enjoy, not invest. And if you don't understand this, you will keep trying to turn heat into heart by giving more of yourself than you should. Lust is like a doorway. It invites someone in. But what happens inside that room is what matters. And who sets the rules of that room? You do. The moment you begin treating lust as a signal, something to watch, understand, and respond to with wisdom, you regain control of the story. You take back the power the world once told you to hand over. You stop believing you must keep a man through appearance alone. You stop relying on seduction as your only strength. Instead, you begin expecting the man to offer more than desire. You begin to say, I know you're drawn to me, but do you respect me? Do you understand me? Are you worthy of more than a single night of my time? That isn't manipulation. That is maturity. The issue is that too many women have been trained to confuse desire with affection. We are taught that if a man wants you intensely, it must mean he cares deeply. But intensity isn't depth, fire isn't stability, and passion without principles always fades. When you use lust as your strategy, when your appearance or sensuality becomes your main tool, you may attract him, but you will not keep him. Because at some point, even the strongest physical pull will be tested by real life, stress, disagreements, and time. And when that moment comes, the real question becomes clear. Is there something beyond the surface? Is there friendship? Is there shared purpose? Is there mutual respect? Treating lust as a signal means you know it is simply an invitation, never the destination. It's all right to enjoy chemistry. It's normal to appreciate the way a man looks at you. But your future cannot be built on glances and compliments. What does he offer beyond desire? Does he listen? Does he value your time? Does he show up even when it's difficult? Is he consistent? These are the real signs of love, not the heat of the moment, but the weight of his actions. And if all he brings is lust, it is not your job to turn him into a loving partner. He must choose that growth for himself. This is where many women lose their footing. They take the spark and try to build a full flame on their own. They compromise, they chase, they give too much. And by doing so, they teach the man that desire is enough to keep receiving everything she has. But you are not a temporary thrill. You are not something to be taken lightly. You are a woman with depth, wisdom, and an entire inner world. And unless a man is willing to slow down, look past his own desires, and truly pursue who you are, he does not deserve entry to the deeper parts of your life. When you treat lust as a signal, you become wiser, you stop rushing, you give space for a man to reveal whether he's serious or simply stimulated. You hold back, not to play games, but to protect what is meaningful. You understand that anything of real value needs time. You don't run from desire, but you also don't hand over your heart because he stares at you like you're everything he's ever wanted. Because that look will fade, that intensity will settle, and only a man who chooses you after that shift is a man capable of staying. There is no shame in being desired. The danger lies in believing that desire alone is enough. Lust is simple. Love requires effort. And until a man offers effort, clarity, and intention, he has not earned emotional access to you. Let his desire be a starting point, not the reason you attach. Don't let it cloud your judgment. Let it lead to real conversations, not rushed promises. You are the protector of your own future. And when you treat lust as a signal, you guard that future with wisdom. You slow down. You let him show whether he can move from obsession to devotion. And more importantly, you respect yourself enough to say, desire is not enough to claim me. You must earn the right to truly love me. That is how you move from being a moment in his life to becoming someone who changes it. Depth takes time and standards. This is not optional. It is a rule of genuine love. You cannot rush intimacy. You cannot force connection that has not been earned. Yet in today's world, where relationships move quickly with texts, instant chemistry, and shallow approval, many women feel pressured to give more and ask for less in hopes of winning a man's heart. But that is not how lasting love works. That is how temporary excitement works. If you want something that withstands storms, silence, and seasons, you must hold this truth close. Nothing deep grows in a rush, and no man will value a woman who does not value herself. The path from lust to love is not built through speed. It is built through standards. It is shown in what you refuse to accept. It is shown in what you walk away from. It is shown in how patient you are before opening the most sacred parts of yourself. Your standards are not walls. They are filters. They do not block love. They protect it. Because any man can speak beautifully when he is driven by desire. But only a man with real intention will rise to meet your standards when desire alone is no longer enough. He will try when shortcuts are not offered. He will stay when effort becomes necessary. You must stop believing that being easy to satisfy will make him stay. You must stop thinking that lowering standards will make you more lovable. It won't. It only makes you easier to use, and you are not here to be used. You are here to be chosen. Standards are not burdens. They are reflections of your self-worth. They show the world what you believe you deserve, and when you stand by them, You teach people how to treat you. You show a man whether you are a short-term thrill or a long-term partner. You show him whether you want a moment or a future. Time reveals everything. Time exposes who someone really is. Anyone can be charming for a few weeks. Anyone can pretend. Anyone can make promises in the heat of desire. But real love requires consistency after the spark fades. It requires effort after the excitement settles. It requires honesty even when it's uncomfortable. And the only way to know if a man can handle that level of depth is to let time guide the process and let your standards stand firm. Women often ask, how do I know if he truly loves me? Here's the answer. Watch who he becomes when he doesn't get what he wants right away. Watch how he handles your boundaries. Watch how he acts when you say, not yet, I need more than words. That moment tells you everything. That moment shows whether he's invested in you or only in what he can get. And if he walks away, let him. Because the man who truly recognizes your value will stay. He will adjust. He will grow. He will rise to your level, not try to drag you down to his. Men do not fall in love with easy. They fall in love with effort. Not because love should feel like a battle, but because anything gained without value is often treated without care. A man must feel that your heart is meaningful enough to earn, not in a manipulative way, but in a dignified way. He must feel that you are not auditioning for his affection. He is proving whether he deserves yours. That is not ego. That is strength. That is the kind of woman who never begs to be chosen. She chooses herself first, and by doing that, she quietly teaches others to rise to her level. Love built without time is like building a home without a foundation. It may stand for a moment, but it will collapse the second life becomes heavy. And love without standards is like a deal with no rules. It invites confusion, imbalance, and eventually disappointment. But when you combine time with strong, steady standards, something beautiful begins to form. You start attracting men who are emotionally grounded. You naturally push away the ones who only want shortcuts. You build connections not based on fantasy, but on shared values, mutual respect, and commitment that has been proven, not promised. Don't mistake urgency for importance. Just because something feels intense doesn't mean it's real. You must learn to sit in the uncomfortable space of patience. You must resist the urge to speed up a process meant to unfold slowly. You must protect your emotional space like the sacred ground it is. The right man will never ask you to lower your standards. He will admire them, he will respect them, and he will match them. There is a powerful peace that comes from understanding that you don't have to rush love. You don't have to prove yourself worthy. You don't have to shrink your boundaries to stay visible. The love you desire, real, deep, steady, only grows in the space where time and standards are allowed to work. So be patient, stay firm. Do not fear being alone. Do not chase connection. Build it slowly, intentionally, and with clarity. Because when a man is given time to see your worth, and when he must rise to meet the standards you hold, something changes in him. Lust begins to evolve. Infatuation becomes steady, and love forms, real love, not just hunger. That is when you stop being someone he simply wants, and you become someone he cannot imagine losing. What you allow becomes what you teach. It is one of the most powerful truths in relationships and one of the most ignored. Every time you forgive behavior that hurts you, you teach him that you'll accept it. Every time you stay quiet when your needs aren't met, you teach him that your needs aren't important. Every time you accept inconsistency, vague intentions, or emotional distance, you aren't just being patient. You are silently telling him that this is enough. Once that pattern forms, it becomes hard to break. Because people, including men, learn not from your words, but from your actions. You are constantly showing others how to treat you. through your choices, your boundaries, and the behavior you accept. When you lower your standards to avoid conflict or to feel chosen, you teach him that your love can be earned at the cost of your self-respect. This isn't about being harsh. It's about understanding that love without guidance becomes confusion, and relationships without standards turn into survival tests where you work endlessly to earn what should come naturally: respect, effort, consistency, and care. Many women fall into the trap of believing they can be the exception. They see red flags and think, "I can love him through this. He'll change once he sees my value. He'll grow because of me." But here's the hard truth. You're not changing him. You're teaching him how little he needs to give to keep you. You're reinforcing the same behavior you wish he'd stop. You're showing him that emotional neglect still earns your loyalty. And the longer you stay, the harder it becomes to leave. The more you excuse the bare minimum, the more disconnected you become from your own worth. This is why self-respect must lead the way, not pride, not ego, but healthy, grounded self-respect. The kind that says, "I don't have to fight for basic kindness. I don't have to remind you to be consistent. I don't need to explain why communication matters. If you cannot meet me there, then you cannot have access to me." When you live that truth, not just say it, you stop chasing potential and start protecting your peace. Many women fear drawing these boundaries because they think it will drive men away. And it will, but only the wrong ones. The right man is not threatened by standards. He is guided by them. He doesn't treat boundaries as challenges. He treats them as direction. He isn't bothered by your clarity. He respects it. Because a man who is ready to love doesn't want to guess how to treat a woman. He wants to understand her so he can show up fully. What you allow once becomes a message. What you allow twice becomes a habit. What you allow repeatedly becomes the identity you hold in that relationship. If you allow even small disrespect, you become the woman who will tolerate it. If you accept inconsistent effort, you become the woman he doesn't feel the need to show up for. If you accept late-night messages but no real plans, you become the convenient option, not the chosen one. You are not only responding to his behavior, you are shaping it. And I know some women say, "But I don't want to be alone." Understand this deeply. Being alone and respected is far better than being in a relationship where you feel small. Loneliness passes. Regret stays. When you walk away from what drains you, you make space for what will nurture you. But if you keep filling that space with men who disrespect you or delay your growth, you block the very love your soul is craving, a love that is mutual, deep, and genuine. This is not about waiting for a perfect man. It is about refusing to settle for a man who refuses to grow, a man who dismisses your voice, a man who takes without giving, a man who keeps you unsure while benefiting from your loyalty. That is not love. That is emotional convenience. And you were never meant to be someone's emotional crutch. You are not a place for broken potential to rest. You are a woman with value, vision, and depth. And if you want men to honor that, you must show them how. Because what you allow truly becomes what you teach. And you are the first teacher in every relationship you enter. Show him that you expect more. Show him that closeness to your heart is earned, not assumed. Show him that your time is precious, your energy is protected, and your heart is not a reward handed out for poor behavior. Speak less, observe more, explain less, enforce more. Stop trying to prove your worth and start living like your worth is unquestionable. That is how you move with emotional strength. That is how you protect your future. And that is how you shift from being wanted to being deeply valued. The journey from lust to love is one only women with true self-respect can take. Not girls pretending to understand love. Not women chasing validation or begging to feel wanted. Only queens. Women who recognize their worth, protect their peace, and demand emotional depth. That's the journey. because the shift from being desired to being truly valued is never by accident. It is a choice, a rise, a deliberate climb. It isn't something you fall into by luck. It's something you grow into with strength, standards, and courage. The courage to be misunderstood, the courage to stand alone for a while, the courage to hold firm even when the world keeps telling you to settle for what's easy. Lust is cheap. It takes nothing but chemistry, convenience, and impulse. Real love, the kind that lasts and nourishes, is costly. It requires time, honesty, vulnerability, and steady effort. And only a queen is willing to invest that without losing herself, because she doesn't just want a man who wants her for a moment. She wants a man who knows her heart, sees her spirit, and honors her emotions. Lust consumes quickly, love builds slowly. Lust is a moment, love is a lifetime. And the path from desire to devotion belongs only to the woman who refuses to accept anything that lacks both passion and purpose. A queen is different in how she moves. She doesn't break down when someone only lusts after her. She doesn't try to force love out of infatuation. She understands that being desired is not the same as being valued. She knows the difference between being someone's fantasy and being someone's foundation. She has already felt the emptiness of shallow attraction. She has experienced how hollow it feels when a connection has no depth. And because of that, she chooses something deeper. She chooses loyalty, honesty, peace, and truth. And that single choice changes everything. When a woman walks like a queen, men feel it. It's not in her attitude or her tone, but in her energy. She doesn't chase attention. She doesn't beg for affection. She doesn't plead for consistency. She walks in full presence. She knows who she is. She knows what she deserves. She doesn't need to be seen because she already sees herself clearly. She doesn't need someone to complete her because she already fills her own heart. And because she carries that energy, she naturally filters out the men who offer nothing but lust. She only attracts the ones who are ready for something lasting. The path from lust to love is narrow and often uncomfortable. It requires discipline and emotional clarity. You will face moments where settling feels easier. You will meet men who give you sparks but no substance. You'll meet men who want the highlight version of you but not the whole woman. But a queen does not shrink to fit into small expectations. She doesn't dim her light to make others comfortable. She expands, she grows, she evolves, and her elevation forces any man who wants her to rise as well. This isn't about playing hard to get. It's about being unforgettable. It's about being the kind of woman whose presence stays in a man's mind long after the first impression fades. Because you're not offering just a body. You're offering wisdom, emotion, loyalty, and a world he could build with. You're offering a presence that heals, inspires, and lifts. That energy is not something you hand to just any man who shows interest. That's something you give to a man who proves through patience, consistency, and presence that he's not here for a temporary thrill. He's here for the real connection. Many women remain stuck in cycles where they are desired but never loved. They stay confused about why men admire them but never commit. They think they aren't beautiful enough or young enough. But that's not the real issue. The issue is not looks. The issue is positioning. If you want to be treated like a queen, you must position yourself like one. You must stop trying to earn love and instead require it. You must stop shrinking yourself to keep someone interested. You must stop letting lust lead your decisions because lust will always settle for less. Love never settles. A queen understands that not all attention is meaningful. She knows that attention without intention is nothing but noise. So she listens more. She watches more. She observes a man's consistency instead of falling for his charm. She isn't impressed by passion alone. She looks at character, emotional intelligence, honesty, and effort. And because she chooses wisdom over excitement, she does not fall for the fireworks that burn out fast. She waits for the kind of man who builds a fire that lasts through storms. This transformation from lust to love is spiritual too. It's not only about romance, it's about alignment with your own soul. A queen lives in alignment with her values and her truth. She doesn't ask for loyalty if she doesn't live it. She doesn't demand honesty if she isn't honest with herself. She cultivates peace inside her heart so she never feels tempted to chase chaos in others. She works on her growth, her healing, and her vision so she doesn't need a man to complete her, only to walk with her. And when two whole people meet, when a queen meets a man who has done his own inner work, love grows naturally. Real love. Love that is both steady and passionate. Love that is peaceful yet strong. Love that is exciting but also stable. Love that lasts. So if you want to be more than a man's moment, if you want to be his destiny, then you must walk like a queen. Walk with quiet power, not pride. Move with confidence, not arrogance. Carry yourself with inner certainty, not desperation. Understand that your heart is not a playground, it is a palace, and not every man should be granted a key. Love isn't for the weak. It isn't for the men who want shortcuts or shallow connections. It's for the woman who is willing to stand tall, even if she has to walk alone for a season. It's for the woman who won't lower her standards just to feel chosen. It's for the woman who knows her value and refuses to let anyone treat her as an option. And that woman is a queen.